Those who are old enough to remember going to Saturday afternoon matinees usually remember them quite fondly. What could be more fun than you and 1,000 other kids storming the neighborhood theater, stuffing your face with milk duds, and watching a bill of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy flicks? Well, sadly, television killed the matinee. But lately, at a movie theater in Hollywood, the matinee has been revived. Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine is presenting what it calls a classic matinee series. When we heard that the series included a tribute to Ray Harryhausen, we just had to buzz on down. Harryhausen, of course, is the god of stop-motion animation. He winged in from his home in England to meet his fans and to revel in the revival of the movie matinee. But Harryhausen is the first to acknowledge that the matinee has only been temporarily revived.
I think that would be great if they could bring back, but it's hard to turn the clock back. That's one of the big problems. Once your naive quality is gone, it's hard to get it back in particularly this age, I think. Films were a novelty when the matinee was popular. Today you're inundated with television, with videos, with laserdiscs. You're just bombarded with every kind of entertainment. So it's no longer a novelty.
But a matinee of Harryhausen movies is certainly a novelty. Enough so that a number of artists in the film industry showed up to see the man who inspired them to pursue their careers. One of them was director John Landis.
I really can trace my own career directly to Ray Harryhausen because I saw a film, The Seven Voyages of Sinbad, in '58, I guess, and it was my seminal movie-going experience.
Famous Monsters of Filmland got help in putting on the Harryhausen tribute from Columbia TriStar Home Video. The distributor has released many of Ray's films on video cassette and laserdisc, including It Came From Beneath the Sea, Earth versus the Flying Saucers, Mysterious Island, Harryhausen's 3 Sinbad films, and his most celebrated picture, Jason and the Argonauts. Fans who showed up to honor Harryhausen included one of Ray's very first fans, Forrest Ackerman, the editor of Famous Monsters of Filmland. Ackerman's friendship with Harryhausen started when both were teenagers.
In 1939, there was a revival of King Kong, a film which Ray Harryhausen has now seen over 100 times. But he was just a youngster, and he went after the showing of the film to the manager of the theater and asked him if he could get hold of those stills and posters. And the manager said, well, I don't own them. There's a young fellow named Forrest Ackerman, and he gave Harryhausen my address.
For Ray, one of the high points of the tribute was leaving his handprints in cement outside the theater. But no less exciting was once again seeing his masterpieces on the big screen.
There's still an audience for this wonderful concept of putting everything on a big scale and having to look up at it.
Yes, tune into Network 23, the network that's a real mind-blower.
Matt Frewer is best known for his stuttering turn as Max Headroom, the computerized alter ego of investigative reporter Edison Carter.
Mr. Carter!
Nice of you to drop in.
You know, they refer to it now as an icon of the 80s, and that sort of sounds like a brand name of aluminum, but there you go.
Only 14 episodes of Max Headroom, 20 minutes into the future, were produced for American TV. But thanks to the magic of reruns, the innovative series has aroused an international following.
Max Headroom.
It spawned a lot of look-alike shows and had a wonderful high-tech look. I mean, that said, I would say we borrowed heavily from Blade Runner. I mean, the high-tech look with the kind of, you know, the old kind of 50s, almost film noir look, and the bright white light through smoke. And, you know, so we owe a debt to Ridley Scott.
Come with me now, won't you?
Frewer recently returned to a cutting-edge computerized landscape in Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace.
I've journeyed cyberspace more than I care to.
Lawnmower Man 2 reunited Frewer with Max Headroom director Farhad Mann. Like many who admire the Canadian-born actor's uncanny ability to ad-lib, Mann allowed Frewer an inordinate amount of freedom with his performance.
Well, I get to improvise a lot. I mean, it's certainly the way I like to work, but it's not a deal breaker, as it were. It's not something that if they go, you have to stick to the script, it's like, okay, that's it. Out to my Winnebago.
It's the next phase in free market mind control. It has to do with the machine I've been working on.
Frewer's latest sci-fi stint is in the Fox television special Generation X. The live-action project about teens with mutant superpowers is based on the Marvel comic, which was spun off of the popular X-Men.
It looks fantastic. I mean, it's like a comic book come to life. I mean, that was the concept behind it, because it's basically the X-Men comics realized in a celluloid fashion. And it was great fun to do.
In the $4 million special, set to air February 20th, Frewer plays a spiteful ad exec who invents a machine that plants subliminal messages into people's heads so they'll buy the products he's hawking.
You know how I use subconscious images in our advertising? Well, with this machine, I can get directly into anybody's dreams and make suggestions like, buy Slick Lips lipstick, or play Virtua Fighter video games.
The character I play is this guy called Russell Tresh, and he wasn't in the comic book, so it was wonderful for me. So it was like a blank canvas. He didn't have to keep referring back to the comic going, oh, Russell wouldn't do that, he's not left-handed. You know, and so you were able to kind of do whatever you wanted.
Frewer insists he has not consciously sought out sci-fi and fantasy roles. He's simply drawn to quality material. So what's next for this classically trained, multifaceted performer?
I've been turning down a lot of stuff, things that are sort of junky things that I don't really want to do, and there's some other things that are kind of in the wind, but nothing concrete. And you know, obviously they want to turn Generation X into a series, and you know, I'm going to sound like my parents now and say, we'll see.